Welcome to Scholarships Cafe. My name is Dr. Lumio Igbalajobi. If you're new on this channel, I am super happy and pumped to have you. Welcome to a channel where we match students with scholarship opportunities across the globe. We've done amazingly well in the last couple of months. We've supported thousands of students to have access to scholarship. We've also supported them through our mentorship program, including a masterclass Global Scholarship Academy, which is personalized. And some of the students are currently in Cornell, some will be arriving at Yale, and some will be arriving at UBC, McGill, and Oxford later in the year. And you can see the evidence is out there as well. So if you are new and you're yet to be part of this community, please you can start by hit the button to subscribe so that you can stay connected with our community. To our returning subscriber, you guys are MVP. Thank you so much for sticking with us. Your continued support keep this mission alive together, as well as we can achieve more all with you. Today, before we talk about opportunities, I'd like to tell you about what we offer at Scholarships Cafe, especially if you're looking for scholarship. Every day I get responses from people to say, hey, I don't even know how to find those right scholarship. I want to tell you, we have those opportunities here for you. In fact, we have over 6,000 active scholarships on Scholarships Cafe. If you click on the scholarship search button, it will take you to this page that you can see the list of available scholarship, the date it was posted, and the expiry date. So click on it. You can search by country, Korea, search by Belgium, search by Netherlands. You're interested in opportunities in the US, you can easily get that. And you can also create an account within a minute, and on your dashboard you will be able to see the numbers of available scholarships for you. And we are introducing some futures before the end of the year, which would even help you to support you more, and also more accessible to people that want to talk to advisor life. Maybe you have issues with the application, you need clarity, you will be able to do that at a very affordable amount. So today we are going to South Korea. Welcome back. Today we'll be talking about a fully funded scholarship program at KDI in South Korea for the spring 2026 application. It opens today, and we always promise you at Scholarships Cafe that we will always be there for you. The EDOM scholarship platform that brings the real-time opportunities to your timeline for free. Guess what? For the spring 2025 application cycle, we supported 7 members of our community who are currently residing in South Korean region. In fact, 2 weeks ago, we had one of them, Emmanuel, on board, and also Adeniyi Kuye. Shout out to Adeniyi Kuye, who booked a consultation with me about a year ago, and he said there was a scholarship in his name, and I recommended this same scholarship for him for the spring 2025, and 7 of them, including one person with tutu and someone with HND background, are currently having their masters in public policy fully funded at KDI in Korea. And this means that your profile doesn't have to be perfect. Your profile doesn't have to be that strong, exceptional. All you need to do is to be well prepared for this particular opportunity. So let's see what happens, especially what does Korea offers, because a lot of people don't think that Korea is a very good country to examine or to explore scholarship. So this particular scholarship program includes the Masters of Public Policy, Masters of Development Policy. We're going to get into that later, and also it involves you if you would like to study for PhD. All the programs are taught in English. No Korean language requirement is needed to get the scholarship itself. They want to build leaders in public service development and research, and it offers a very good community, a platform to drive change. Having conversations around public policy with top leaders in the world and companies, especially Korea, is known for that development, and one of the top 3 tech, countries in the world. Okay, so let's go to the homepage. So if you click on apply, it takes you directly to the homepage, and we're in the homepage here, which is the 2026 spring admission. So I want to encourage you that if you want to apply for any opportunity, be it in Korea, be it in Canada, be it in the US, I just want to encourage you to read the guideline appropriately. So this application already opened July 14 today, and it closes on July 31st. And please remember, the time difference. This is KST, and so if you're looking at, it closes on West African time, July 31. It might have closed before you apply because Korea is about 7 hours ahead of Nigeria, West Africa, or wherever you are. So you need to check the time difference so that you can submit your application on time. So they do have a link to submit your application, and also they do have a link, the application guideline. We're going to go through that, and also employment verification for those that have professional experience. And for PhD, there is a research proposal for you here that you need to download and fill. Okay, so this is the Spring 2026 application guideline for international applicants looking to apply for Masters and PhD programs at KDI, the KDI School of Public Policy and Management in South Korea. So let's go through the guideline together to understand what the guideline entails. Okay, the first thing I want to talk about is basically the overview. They have a qualification. What would you require to really, submit your application? The scholarship itself, application document. This guideline also talks about apostille, especially for people that do not know about notarization. And there's a contact information. Now, the overview. The scholarship opens today, or the admission opens today, and you can get to apply via this link, which we will talk about later on how to apply. And then they have the MIPD applicant must apply to both KDIS and WIPO. So the WIPO application is available here. You can go through this place if you're interested in that. And then online recommendation letters must be submitted by each recommender before 2400 KST on the closing date. Remember, convert the KST to your time so that you're not late. And the application review, the document review will start on the 4th of August to September 9th. They're pretty fast with this. You're going to get response or updates on your application by September 12th. And then interview follows September 22nd to 30th. And the final result comes October 20th. So you definitely know you're going to Korea by October 20. And by then, your document must be submitted in terms of your notarized document. Initially, before now, you have to notarize your document before you submit. But they make it now flexible that you must submit your notarized document after you have been selected for the admission and the scholarship itself. And then the program entrance, you should be in Korea by February 2026. So please take note of this guideline, especially to help you to submit your application early. In terms of the qualification and eligibility, you must hold an official graduation certificate before you apply to KDI. Expected graduate from Korea or Japanese university may submit the certificate of expected graduation, which is stated in the guideline as well. You cannot defer your admission or scholarship under any circumstance. The admission will be cancelled at school discretion even after registration in the cases of the grants for disqualification are found if any of your documents are found to be falsified. So please be very careful when it comes to that. For the English proficiency test, it is mandatory for every student except for people from Antigua and Barbuda, Australia, Bahamas, Barbados, Canada, Dominica, Highland, Jamaica, St. Vincent, and also Grenadines, Trinidad and Tobago, UK, and the US. I've written them a couple of times, and we're still hoping that one of those days they will consider someone from the English-speaking African country like Nigeria, Ghana, not to submit this test as well. The test must not be taken more than 2 years. You can take TOEIC, you can take TOEFL, you can take IELTS. They do accept Duolingo as well, which you can consider to take that before you submit your application. For international candidates who receive admission offer, you must submit proper academic supporting documents authenticated with an apostille, like I had mentioned earlier. So you need to find out about the process in your own country, whether it has to start from your institution to the Korean consular, and you must submit this document by post, not online, by November 28, 2025. And so if you have questions about that, they do have a contact information of someone that is in charge of the scholarship that you can actually reach out to them. And I do encourage my students a lot to make use of all this in asking questions about issues that you're not familiar with, and don't think I have all the details when it comes to opportunities like this. Now, let's talk about all the things which you need to note when it comes to the scholarship itself. So please go through this document appropriately. There are so many information on this guideline that it might really help you. For the qualification, applicants for the master's degree program must meet one of the following criteria, one or two. One, a bachelor degree holder from an accredited college or university, minimum of 3 years, education attainment equivalent to a bachelor degree, minimum of 3 years approved by law. And maybe this is similar to HND, especially if you had graduated with a national diploma. We had a student this year who got into the scholarship program with a background in HND, and she's doing well on the program right now. So you might also hold an official graduation certificate of bachelor degree before you apply. This is very important. An applicant must hold a master's degree or have two or more bachelor degree, adding up to more than 3 years if your bachelor degree duration was less than 3 years. So please note that if your bachelor duration was less than 3 years, they can consider you your master's or have two or more bachelor degree. So if you have a master's already, you can also reapply for another master's. So if you're considering PhD, you need a bachelor minimum of 3 years and master's degree from an accredited college. An education equivalent to both bachelor and master's degree is also required for this. For the scholarship eligibility, you must not have already benefited. For the scholarship eligibility, applicants who already benefited from any Korean government scholarship, including KDI School on a master's or doctoral level, are not eligible to receive another scholarship for an equivalent degree at KDI. So, as an international applicant, it is very crucial that you meet one of the following. You must be a foreign national whose parents are both foreign nationals, and a foreign nationals of Korean descent and must also meet one of the following. Your parent must be foreign nationals, and also you must complete at least 16 years of education in a foreign country, and you must submit the document as stated there. So let's go to the scholarships on this particular program itself. For the scholarship, they do have, the KDI scholarship. So when you create your account, please select that, and all applicants, student will be automatically assigned this scholarship. It will be decided by the admission committee, and to see the benefit, please click on this particular page on the guideline. All international scholarship entails full tuition, monthly stipends, and all the miscellaneous as well. And you can see the list of countries eligible, especially from the OECD, DAC, recipient country. Please check that out. And if you are currently nationals of a G20, apart from Republic of Korea, you may be considered for the Seoul G20 scholarship. There are also external scholarship which you can consider. They have all this detailed already on their guideline, which I would encourage you to read the guideline appropriately. So for you to apply for the scholarship itself, you need to create an account, which I'm going to take you through very soon. You need a net shot, which is correctly positioned. You need to have take the online survey, and also you need online recommendation letters. You need to trigger a recommendation letters request to your references. Self-recommendation letters should be avoided, and if your recommenders do not submit the letter in time, your application will be actually excluded from the admission process. You need the English proficiency test score. You also need a certified, a postal certified document, especially when you've been selected for the next stage or the admission itself. Official transcript, you need that for your bachelor. For masters, for PhD, you need official bachelor and master's degree transcript, and you need employment verification if you have that. If you had worked as a professional, please ensure that you have the employment verification. Any letter without a proper employment certificate would not be considered. For PhD, you need a dissertation research proposal that clearly reflects your research interest. So for your research interest, you need to examine what would you like to address, the gap in the field, the methodology, contributions, knowledge expected, year of graduation as well as references. If you need support for that, please reach out to Scholarships Cafe. Optional for PhD writing sample, which could include your thesis, your articles, your journals. You can upload that. GRE score, if it's optional as well, must be taken within 5 years. To apostille your document, it's stated here. You can check through the Korean consulate in your home country, and they would support you adequately. So let's talk about the courses offered by KDI for master's program. If you're interested in public policy, this is a very good choice for you. Developmental policy, public management, MPM. They do offer masters in intellectual property and developmental policy, which is for people, especially in the field of law. And if you're interested in data science for public policy and management, I would encourage you to apply for the scholarship. And they do have, the graduation requirement in terms of the courses that you take. And for a PhD, they have a PhD in public policy as well as PhD in developmental policies. Please ensure that you have a background in this particular field of study. And if you do not have a background in this particular field of study, which could be research based, you can actually show your professional experience. Like Emmanuel had a background in civil engineering with a tutu, and he was able to get the public policy fully funded masters at KDI, combining all his professional experiences, conferences, virtual talks, and the project he has done in his community to address, policy in terms of structures and also environmental policies as well. So you do not necessarily have to be a public admin person in the initial start for you to apply. You might be able to gather some professional experience that could help you to submit a compelling application. Okay, so we've addressed, the overview of the scholarship. We've addressed the scholarship itself, what it offers. We've also talked about, the qualification. You need a bachelor degree to apply, or equivalent for masters. You need a master's and bachelor to apply for PhD, and you need the application documents, basically your transcript, your credentials. You will definitely see this when we go through how to apply page. So let's go to this particular link because we're ready to apply for the scholarship itself. Because I've created an account, I'm just going to click on sign up, and so you can change the language to English here, and once you do that, you can click on agree and type OK, and here you can actually enter your name, your first name, your middle name, your family name. Once you enter your email, send authentication code, you get a code in your email. You can enter the code here, then verify, enter your password, confirm password, and country code for cell phone number itself, your date of birth, and once you submit, it takes you to your home page. Well, because I've created my own account, I'm just gonna go ahead and log in. Okay, so you can see on the dashboard, current admission, my application, document review result, final admission result, registration, withdrawal of admission, entry info for international student, and admission package. Because I've done mine, I'm going to start from the survey. From the survey, you need to answer this question to proceed to the next step in the application process. And for the master's applicant only, it's asking which topic would you like to study? Which topic would I like to study? What would I like to address? And that is the question I do ask my student. What would you like to do in grad school? So here, because I'm in the field of education accessibility, I would love to address education equity in Africa, because this particular program is tied to my own country. So I'm not saying like you have to return by force, but majorly you have to demonstrate the significant importance of this program to your own country, especially the problem that is involved. So I aim to address education inequality in Africa by examining how policies such as removing unnecessary English tests and expanding scholarship can enhance access to international education. This research will inform, reforms that provide fair opportunities and help marginalized students succeed. So I might just maybe globally, because of the limit, I couldn't do that. So I'm just going to delete that. Make sure it is within 300 characters, and it's no more than that. The next would be which field are you interested in. I selected sustainable development because this is what I want to do. So you might be interested in international development, public policy and social policy, regional development and environment, or maybe data science for public policy and management. So select that appropriately, and you should be able to save it, and then it would take you to you can click on next to go to the next option. For the next option, it should have populated your details in terms of the year you want to apply. Full time, you can change that. No, you can't change that. And the Masters of Public Policy, which are already selected, the date of birth, your phone number, your email address, you can enter that appropriately, and also, upload a picture of yourself, which is very crucial, and also the nationality, your continent, your passport number, your if you're Korean overseas, residency in Korea, your you know residential address, and also your email, and that's it. And then for your bachelor, you have to add your bachelor in terms of the name of the university. You can type if it's not found. You can actually add the university. For instance, I tried to get a state university, which I couldn't find it, but we will do it together so that if you also encounter the same problem, you can actually solve it. So I tried to search for Ekiti State University, I couldn't find it, and so you can add it here. Type the name of the university, Ekiti State University. I'm going to click and select. And once you click and select, you can type the year the admission date when you got admitted, and you can type the graduation date, your admission type, admission transfer, graduation type, graduated expected withdrawal, and the major that you did with microbiology, the degree type, bachelor, location, the country, you type the country, your GPA, out of what the maximum. So please include that appropriately. I'm just going to delete this because I already have that. Then if you have a master's degree, you're applying for PhD, or you're applying for another master's, you can actually indicate it here. You can add this here. For the standardized test score, you will be required to add that as well, and you can add that here. The course itself, and the grades that you had, the date that you took the test, and that should suffice. And for career information, for people that needs for instance, you work in government, public corp, academia, you need to enter the name of the place, the location, the duration of time, the employment type, whether it's regular, contract, temporal, the department, the position that you occupy, and you are able to move to the next. You save it. Please ensure you save every of your details so that you can move to the next page of the application. So here it is very important. That's the step 3 for your recommendation and SOP. You must get recommendation letter from 2 recommenders before completing your statement of purpose. In fact, it won't allow you to proceed to actually detail your essay, and you can view the status of the recommendation, whether it has been received, completed, or submitted in the application status. And you need to get all your recommenders before the deadline. Please ensure that you talk to your recommenders right away. When it comes to your statement of purpose, please type it in English. All the questions must be answered, or else your SOP will not be reviewed. It must be original. You shouldn't use AI to write your SOP. You can use AI to brainstorm, but please do not use AI to draft the final copy, because you will be disqualified. For those that will be your recommenders, please ensure that you send the recommendation request to them and confirm that they receive it. And please do not self-recommend yourself. So for me, I'd already had it, a typical name of recommenders, and you can see the status. It's waiting because it's been submitted to them, and that was the reason why I could proceed to my statement of purpose. So this is a bigger piece of the conversation, and I want to encourage you to please listen attentively, especially with this statement of purpose. Your statement of purpose will only be reviewed when questions are answered. It must be written by yourself. Any assistance from others or plagiarism will be granted for complete dismissal. And submitting your SOP, including study plan drafted by AI software such as ChatGPT, will be disqualified. So there are 4 questions which you need to answer. It is different this year because last year was another different scenario. So when it comes to you applying for scholarship, you have to be very careful not to reproduce previous essays because things do change. So there are about four essays here. Number one, explain your most important accomplishment and explain why you think it is as such. So I will be addressing these on the premises of myself applying for the scholarship. The second is explain which public policy problem you are interested in solving and why you think it as such. Must be less than 1,500 characters. And the third is explain your curriculum or extracurriculum experience that shows your interest in quantitative or qualitative analysis on social phenomena. And the last piece here is explain how you think the KDI school curriculum will help you fulfill your career aspiration given your professional and academic background and experience. Now, let's start from the first essay here. You should demonstrate something quite important, an accomplishment, and why you think it is. Like, what is it about this accomplishment? You need to choose an accomplishment with impact, not just prestige. Maybe you had launched a social initiative. Maybe you've actually been involved in strategies or movements that led to changing policy. You funded a program in your community. You need to think in depth. You need to highlight the problem you solve, the role, the outcome. How do you show leadership? The initiative, the relevance to public policy or development. Make it personal, make it original, make it authentic. Why does it matter to you? End with what you learn and how it shaped your future goal. And I'm going to read mine, like, a dummy example of what what is that important achievement and why I think it matters. So I'll start by saying that one of the most significant accomplishment is funding Scholarships Cafe, a technology dedicated to democratizing access to global education by supporting students, particularly across Africa and the global south, in securing scholarship and admissions to world-class institutions. And since its launch, Scholarships Cafe has supported over 200,000 students from more than 168 countries, helping them secure over $3 billion in scholarship to study at top institutions worldwide, including Yale, Cornell, McGill, and the KDI as well in South Korea. And what makes this accomplishment truly meaningful is not just the global reach or number of success stories, but the lives and future being transformed. Many of the students we serve come from underserved communities where opportunities for quality education, especially abroad, are scarce or even inaccessible. Scholarship Cafe provides curated scholarship listing, free resources, mentorship, and advocacy support to level the playing field and help them realize their potential. Building and sustaining this platform has required vision, strategy, collaboration, and continuous adaptation. I've engaged with scholarship providers, alumni, NGO experts while mentoring applicant one-on-one or through group program. It's not just a platform, it's a community driven by shared purpose. This accomplishment is especially important to me because it represents systemic effect, impact. When one student wins, the entire community is inspired and the generation changes for good. Beyond being a personal milestone, Scholarships Cafe has become a powerful tool for education equity. It reinforces my long term goal of shaping inclusive, evidence based public policy that removes structural barriers to education, especially for marginalized population. You can see the impact, you can see the problem I've tried to solve, my role and the outcome, the results. I made it personal, authentic, original, and I also end with what I've learned in the process and how this achieved my future goal. So when you're writing this particular essay, don't rush it. Take time to look through what you've achieved. Have you created a platform where young or teens or teenagers or girl child or boy child can access opportunities? What is that impact? What has it translated to? What has it been in terms of leadership, in terms of relevance to public policy, changing the narrative? So if you really want to write this essay, you need to reflect and take time. And we do offer, review services at Scholarships Cafe, and we're more than happy to go through your document for you as well. The second part is explain which public policy problem you are interested in solving and why you think it is such. Here, it is crucial to pick one or two crucial issues like maybe education equality, climate resilience, data driven governance, lack of access to, maybe healthcare for people living with disability. Explain the professional or community or personal relevance of this issue. You can actually personalize it, especially from living experience makes more sense. Show that you've thought about the root cause and the systemic challenge. Mention if you've taken any action or advocacy or research in this area. Connect your interest to regional global implications. Show big picture thinking, and most importantly, personalize this conversation so that this is not an extension of something that happened to someone, but something that you kind of resonate with. And so for me, I would go by saying I'm particularly passionate about tackling education equality, especially systemic policy that limits students from low income or marginalized background from accessing international education. One major area I've focused on is the elimination of structural requirements such as mandatory proficiency test, right? Having contacted over 300 universities and institutions across the globe because this creates financial and logistical obstacle for applicants from English speaking African countries or those with academic training in English. These policies, while it intend to ensure quality, often exclude highly qualified candidates due to cost, access, or unnecessary bureaucracy. As the founder of Scholarships Cafe, I've worked directly with thousands of students navigating the scholarship and admission ecosystem. My advocacy include pushing institutions to recognize alternative evidence of English proficiency, such as prior academic instruction in English. I've also led campaign shared research-based argument with universities and facilitated webinars to empower students with practical alternative. Through this work, I've seen firsthand the ripple effect that even one policy change can have, opening doors for hundreds of underserved students, including institutions like Princeton, University of Alberta, Clemson Edu, and also, and other institutions that have waived this particular test. I believe public policy must focus not just on designing effective system, but also dismantling those that perpetuate exclusion. My commitment is to help influence education policy that prioritize inclusion, affordability, and opportunity, especially for students in the global south. You can see how I've been able to pick that concrete issue of the English test that is kind of excluding people from the global south or people from low middle income country. How personal it is for me. I've thought about the root causes and the systemic challenges. If we don't dismantle this, what would happen in terms of preventing people from achieving their goals and connecting this to global implication, showing the big picture. If we are committed to equity, we have to ensure that all the systemic barriers are completely dismantled. So do not forget, you have less than 1,500 characters to complete this as well. And to the third essay, the question is explain your curriculum or extracurriculum experience that shows your interest in quantitative or qualitative analysis on social phenomena. You need to choose an example, a research project, or thesis, or internship, or even professional experience. Clarify your role, the method used in terms of data analysis, maybe interview, survey. What you learn in the process is quite crucial. It can be formal in terms of classroom based, it could be informal in terms of community based, and you need to emphasize your ability to use data or insight to understand and solve social problems. And the last part of the tip is to show your openness to both quantitative and qualitative tools. And if I'm going to address this from my own perspective of what I also do in terms of my professional goal or experiences, I'll talk about my advocacy work has led me to use both qualitative and quantitative methods to analyze educational access and scholarship disparities. As the founder of Scholarships Cafe, I spearheaded a comprehensive research initiative to understand why many African students were frequently denied scholarship despite meeting eligibility criteria. We surveyed over 700 students. That is the data size across multiple countries and conducted 4 to 5 in-depth interviews with scholarship applicants, education advisors, and institutional representatives. The data collected were meticulously analyzed to identify common barriers such as eligibility restriction, bias in selection criteria, and gaps in application support. The findings were compiled into a public report that was shared with partner institutions, organizations, universities, scholarship providers, policymakers to encourage transparency and reform. This report has contributed to raising awareness among key stakeholders about structural obstacles faced by applicants from underrepresented regions. In addition to primary research, I've tracked and analyzed trends in scholarship award patterns and eligibility filters from major global programs such as Erasmus, Fulbright, and MasterCard. Using statistical tools, I've examined admission rate, demographic trends, and patterns of inclusion and exclusion. This quantitative analysis deepened my understanding of systemic barrier and how policies can inadvertently disadvantage certain groups. These experiences have not only strengthened my ability to work with complex data, think about that, but also enhanced my skills in translating empirical findings into actionable recommendations. I've advised students on strategic application approaches informed by this research and provided institutions with insight to improve inclusivity. At KDI School, I'm eager to deepen these skills through advanced training in policy analytics, program evaluation, and evidence based decision making, equipping me to more effectively advocate for equitable education and policies and remove barriers that hinder access to higher education for marginalized population. So if you really want to address this particular essay, you must choose specific examples, what you've done, where you've used the qualitative and quantitative tools, especially in social phenomena, and emphasize your ability to use data, what you learn in the process, and show openness to even learning more in terms of both quantitative and qualitative tools as well. So the last but not the least essay is to explain how you think the KDI school curriculum will help you fulfill your career aspiration given your professional academic background and experience, less than 1,500 character. Start with your career vision or what kind of change you want to lead. What kind of transformative leader are you? Mention specific example of KDI school, maybe curriculum, faculty, capstone, global network. Align what has been offered at the KDI with a gap in your knowledge or experience to show that you really need this opportunity. Show how the program is a strategic next step in your professional and personal growth, and end by reinforcing your readiness and fit for the KDI school. So for me, with a background in advocacy and student mentorship, I've led initiatives that help students overcome structural obstacles in global admission and access to higher education. As the founder of Scholarships Cafe, I've supported thousands of students from over 168 countries in navigating complex landscape. However, I recognize a gap in my formal policy training, in particular in impact evaluation, program design, and advanced data analysis. I've created a gap which I think the program will help me to kind of address. KDI School curriculum aligns perfectly with my aspiration to shape inclusive and equitable global education system. I'm specifically drawn to courses such as development policy, data science for public policy and management, public policy management, and intellectual property. So take a look at the courses that they offer at KDI that you might include in your essay. And these courses will provide me with a rigorous theoretical knowledge and practical skills necessary to design, evaluate, and implement impactful educational policies. KDI emphasis on evidence-based policy making resonate with my commitment to using data and research to drive systemic change. The opportunity to engage with a diverse cohort of international students will enrich my understanding of global development challenges and also foster cross-cultural collaboration. This peer learning environment is invaluable for broadening perspective and building a network of change makers. I view KDI not just as an academic institution, but as a launch pad where I can integrate my lived experience with advanced policy tools to drive equitable education reform at scale. This education will empower me to advocate more effectively for removing barrier in education access, both regionally and globally. Ultimately, I aim to influence policy frameworks that promote inclusive, affordable, and accessible higher education for marginalized communities worldwide. So when you talk about all these four essays, you have to be really, really intentional to ask yourself, why KDI? What would I love to solve? And this is similar to every scholarship out there, that you need to ask the why. Why? What is the gap in the field? What is my long-term goal? Why should I be considered for the scholarship? So the number one, in terms of explain your important accomplishment and explain why you think it's such, remember, choose an accomplishment with impact, not just prestige. Highlight the problem you solved, the role and the outcome. Show leadership, initiative, and relevance to public policy development. Make it personal, original, and authentic. Why does it even matter to you? Like, end with what you've learned and how this has shaped your future. And for the second essay, which is basically explain which public policy problem you're interested in solving and why you think it as such, please pick one or two concrete issues. Explain the personal, professional, community relevance of this issue. Show that you've thought about the root causes and systemic challenges. Mention if you've taken any action before, advocacy or research in this area, and also connect your interest to regional, global implication. Show the big picture thinking, which is very crucial. And the third essay, the common tip for the third essay is basically choose specific examples, clarify your role, the method used, data analysis, interviews, surveys, and what you've learned. Emphasize your ability to use data to understand and solve social problems, especially making informed decision, and show your openness to quantitative and qualitative tools, especially at KDI. And the last essay is about, your what you think about KDI. Like, why would you think KDI will support your career, given your professional and academic background? Talk about your vision. Talk about what kind of change you want to lead. Mention specific examples of KDI schools' attribute, like their faculty, capstone, professor, curriculum. Align what they offer at KDI with the gap in your knowledge or experience. Create that gap for yourself to understand what you intend to gain if you're given the scholarship, and show how the program is a strategic next step in your personal and professional growth, and end by reinforcing your readiness and fit for the KDI school. So once you complete this part, you can save it, and then you can move to the next part, which where you would upload your documents. You do need to upload your certificate, diploma, your transcript, your grading system. If you have a master's, you have to also upload that, and the grading system, and just go through this appropriately. Certificate in English, your passport, and any additional documents. I will be unable to save this because I didn't update this, so please go through it appropriately, and after you've been able to save, you should be able to submit. And next will be the document review result, which I'd showed in the timeline, and the final admission result. So you can check your dashboard every time for the update of your application. So it's so quite important to understand that KDI School is a very good school in terms of the support they give you. Like I had mentioned earlier, it's like if you go to KDI, it's like you're going to Harvard, an English speaking ecosystem, a community that you don't even know you're in South Korea. And South Korea is one of the best countries in the world. So if you're considering, public policy, your country data science, intellectual property, I would encourage you to please submit your application for the KD admission and for the spring 2026, which closes 31st of July. And if you need support, I'm happy to tell you about our self-paced masterclass, which was launched, I think, last month, and we currently have a few people who have signed up for it, and they are so grateful. Talking about the value is even way beyond what we charge. And so what this entails is 5 hours of self-paced video content, scholarship search strategies that work, the EDON, CV, and SOP. You can change the currency to your own country appropriately here. And once you sign up for the self-paced masterclass, you get resources straight directly that will link you to even our student community, where a lot of the EDON things do happen, and we do have accountability group as well. So please, if you need support in terms of your review of your documents, you can also reach out to Scholarships Cafe. We can talk about creating a plan for you to go through the document and also provide answers to your question. Again, the Korean the KDI Scholarship application for 2026 spring admission is currently on for everyone interested in master's and PhD program across public administration, public policy, data science, intellectual property. And I'm rooting for you all to also get this scholarship in 2026. Once again, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please help us, encourage us to subscribe as well, and also share this with your friend. Make a comment in the comment section. We'll be more than happy to support you. Lastly, do not forget to check Scholarships Cafe. Create an account, be part of over 70,000 students from over 168 countries using our platforms right now, and we can't wait to celebrate you. Till I see you the next time, do not hesitate to apply for the KDI scholarship. And there are other scholarships out there: the Rhodes Scholarship in Oxford. We have the Malcolm McBain Scholarship in McGill in Canada. They've also started an open house session, which you need to attend at least one of those 5 open sessions. They do put a link there if you want to apply for the Mastercard Foundation Scholarship Program. Last year, we had 8 people in our community resuming in Canada in August under the Mastercard Foundation. Just like I did this video, I made a video for the Mastercard Fund, and this year I will be making the same video as well to walk you through the application process. And if you have any testimonial if we supported you, please drop it in the chat or send us an email as well. Until I see you the next time, keep applying for those scholarships and do not give up. I cannot wait to celebrate your success story. Bye for now.